Defeat enemy. Left 6. That is the number this chapter opened with, and it is the number Claude Opus 5 was still looking at when the clock stopped the last run. So this picks up mid-chapter on turn 2. A valley, a spine of rock down the middle of it, one path east, and an army that spent its entire last sitting trying to get out of its own corner. And here's the first unit of the day with his reach painted onto the grass. Blue is ground the horse can cover. Orange is where the sword still reaches after he stops. Seth, 31 of 31, and the best thing this army owns by a wide margin. 14 squares of movement, and hardly any of them pointing where Claude wants to go. The mountains own the east, and his own people are standing in the gap. So he goes forward exactly 1 square to the mouth of the pass and stops. That is Seth's entire turn. Which sounds like nothing, and is the plan working? 6 units do not get through a doorway 1 square wide unless the one nearest the door goes first. Item or weight. No enemy within reach of him, so there is nothing else the menu can offer. Weight, taken cleanly, first time of asking. That press cost Claude 4 separate turns last video, so somebody has been reading their own notes. "31 health, full, unmarked. Nobody in this army has taken a hit since the paladin lost 5 points 2 videos ago, and the objective in the corner still reads 6, which is exactly what it read when the last video ran out of time. The one unit the mountains do not apply to is already out past the ridge. Vanessa on her Pegasus. The rock that has this whole army pinned in a corner is simply not a fact about her. Her range covers the eastern half of the valley, and both buildings on it, which is a different game from the one everybody else here is playing. So Claude flies her east and sets her down by the fort, beside the 2 green villagers, with an axeman 1 square below her. Attack, sitting at the top of the menu for the first time this chapter. Small aside while Claude is thinking, if this is your sort of thing, the like button does more for it than you would guess. Anyway. And here's the screen this whole run turns on. The battle forecast. 2 columns of numbers at the labels down the middle, 17 on the right, 10 on the left. Vanessa's name is along the top. The word cutthroat and an iron axe are along the bottom, printed in the same orange as the left-hand column. So the 10 is his and the 17 is hers. She is at full health, and he is the one already half dead. Claude reads it the other way round. Vanessa is the wounded one. Claude decides, at 10 against an enemy at full strength. On that reading, backing away is a sensible thing to do. So the attack is cancelled, and a Pegasus knight at full health retreats from a man on 10. And here's what makes that worth watching rather than simply wrong. He really is on 10 of 20, and this audience knows exactly why. That is the brigand Garcia and his son fought on an enemy phase last video, while Claude sat on a turn that pressed nothing. Half his health has been missing since before this run began, and the 1 unit in range to finish him has just flown away. North, 5 squares out of the axeman's reach and back behind the mountain line to be screened by the rest of the army. Which is careful, unselfish, and built entirely on a number that belongs to somebody else. And then Claude goes one better and tries to heal her. The pack opens, a slim lance, a javelin, and a vulnerary, with 3 doses left in it. Use or discard. Restores some health. A vulnerary is the cheapest healing this army owns, 3 doses of about 10 points each, and it is the only medicine anybody here carries. Claude takes use and waits for a Pegasus Knight at 17 of 17 to drink 1. And the game says, no, there's no need for that. Four words, and they are the most useful thing anyone has said to Claude Opus 5 all run. Because a vulnerary is refused for exactly one reason: the unit drinking it is not hurt. So Vanessa is at full health, which means the 17 was hers, which means the 10 was his, which means the forecast has been saying so for 3 minutes. And Claude gets there in one step off a refusal message. Claude says so plainly, takes the move back, and starts again from the square she was standing on. And what Claude does with that is the interesting part. The obvious correction is to fly straight back in and hit him. She is fine, he is on 10, ride him down. Claude does not do that. An axe beats a lance in this game, and Vanessa carries a lance. Standing next to him means taking a swing from the one weapon hers is worst against. So the cursor stops 2 squares short of him, which is the thing a flyer gets that nothing else on this map does. She picks the distance the fight happens at. Two squares, not 1. And the javelin is the only thing in her pack that reaches that far. $11 damage at 81 to hit. Thrown from a square, an iron axe cannot answer from. This is a Pegasus Knight attacking a man who is not allowed to attack back. Nine minutes in, and this is the first attack anybody on Claude's side has committed to. Attack, item, wait. Menu she's been waiting on all chapter. A javelin is a lance you throw. It works at 1 square, and at 2, it hits softer than the lance she stabs with, and at 2 squares, it is the only weapon she owns. The trait is real. Less damage, in exchange for a fight the other man is not invited to. And on 17 health, not being invited is worth a great deal. The weapon list comes up with one line on it. The javelin, 20 uses left, because at 2 squares nothing else in her pack counts as a weapon at all. The slim lance is simply not in the conversation from here. And there it goes. Look at the enemy's half of the battle screen. Hit, damage, critical, all three printed as dashes. He has nothing. He has stood there being thrown at, and the game will not even give him a number. The throw lands. He survives it, and the counter still reads 6. But Vanessa comes out of that at 17 of 17, untouched, which is the entire point of doing it that way. One misread number, one refused potion, and a plan that finished better than the one it replaced. Claude arrived at the right answer by the least direct route available. Her turn is spent, and the cursor goes back west to a queue that has not got any shorter while she was busy. "11 minutes gone, 1 javelin thrown, nobody killed, nobody hurt, and 5 of the 6 enemies have not laid eyes on one of Claude's units yet. This chapter is being fought at the speed of a queue. Gilliam in the pass. 25 of 25, full plate, an iron lance, 4 squares a turn. And his range says the thing this chapter is about. East is rock. Everything he can reach is west or south. So Claude turns the army round. If the pass will not take them east, the valley floor will take them south, and the brigands are south anyway. It is the first properly strategic decision of the run, and it comes off 1 unit's movement squares. And then the screen is taken away from Claude entirely. A battle on the enemy phase with nobody of Claude's in it. Garcia, the green villager from this chapter's opening scene, 28 health, hand axe. And against him, a cutthroat carrying an iron bow on 5. Look at the archer's numbers. Hit, damage, critical, dashes again for the 2nd time in this video. A bow will not fire at somebody stood next to you. He has walked into an axe holding the one weapon that does nothing at that range. 13 damage at 84 to hit, coming back at a man on 5, and Claude has no say in any of it. Second video running, the green units on this map have done more fighting than the army has. Player phase, and the counter still says 6. Eureka, 16 of 16, standing where she was left, on a plane worth nothing at all. She is the one unit here who cannot be spared, and she has not drawn a weapon all chapter. That is turn 3, and this run took 14 minutes to get here from turn 2. 6 enemies at the start of it, 6 now, and the only damage anywhere on the board was done by somebody Claude does not command. And overnight the map has changed. The brigands have come up the valley, and one of them is a short ride from the line, which is the first fight this chapter has offered on Claude's own terms. Franz, Cavalier, 20 of 20, and he can reach the square directly above the nearest brigand. This is what a Cavalier is for. Ride in, hit something, and be gone again before the answer arrives. After 11 minutes of queuing through a mountain pass, there's finally enough open ground to do it properly. He pulls up beside an armory on the valley floor with the brigand 1 square below him, and the menu opens with attack on top and armory under it. Claude takes attack, and then takes the first weapon on the list without checking which one it is. Which is a small thing, and on a man carrying 2 different weapons it is not a small thing at all. The forecast comes up, and the numbers on it look good. Franz, 66 to hit, 10 damage. The Cutthroat, 66 to hit, 8 damage. Claude's reasoning is that swords beat axes, so Franz can take the counter comfortably. Franz is not holding a sword. Iron Lance? It is printed on the battle screen with a red arrow pointing down beside it, and the axe opposite has a green one pointing up. The weapon triangles on the screen, drawn as 2 arrows, saying as plainly as it can that this is the wrong way round. Franz lands his blow, 10 damage, and the brigand drops to 10 and stays standing. And the axe answers. A points off a cavalier who was at full health a minute ago. "12 of 20. First blood on this army in 3 videos, and it came out of a weapon triangle call that was exactly inverted. The fight was fine. 10 damage for 8 is a trade worth making. It is the sentence underneath it that was wrong. The next one down cannot reach anybody, so it walks 2 squares and sits down beside the armor. And that is the shape of this chapter. 1 unit a turn down a corridor, 1 unit wide, into ground the enemy already holds. The pass protects them and pins them at the same time. The line reforms. Gilliam at 25, Franz at 12, the pass behind them and the valley opening ahead. Nobody has died in this campaign. Not 1 unit, across 4 videos and 2.5 chapters, which for a first run at this game is genuinely good going. Vanessa is picked up out east, where the man she threw a javelin at has wandered off, and there is nothing at all inside her range now. So she comes back over the ridge to the army's shoulder, where the javelin will reach the south next turn. And that is where this quad runs out of turns. 37 of them, 1 game turn finished, 1 enemy down to 10, and Franz on 12. A new session picks it up, and everything that happens from here comes out of the notes the last one left. And the first thing this Claude does is end a move cleanly. Up once to wrap the pointer, then confirm, sent on its own. That roll cost the last video 6 minutes and 4 wasted turns. Here it is, written down, inherited, correct, and working the very first time it is asked for. Vanessa in a forest, 17 of 17. 6 enemies left. While the cursor is walking, one other thing. If you want to find out whether this army ever gets out of this valley, subscribing costs nothing at all. On we go. 20 minutes, and the state of this chapter is 1 brigand on half health and 1 cavalier down 8 points, which is not much to show for it, and almost every single decision inside it was defensible on what Claude could see. Last unit of the run, coming up the queue and picked up in the pass. Claude calls it Gilliam, which is a fair guess because Gilliam is the one the notes say is still standing there unspent. Look at the squares around it. Blue in the middle, and a green fringe the whole way around the outside. Every unit before this one has had orange out there. Seth had orange at the top of the video. Orange is where a weapon reaches. Green is where a staff reaches. This is not Gilliam. This is the priest. Mulder, the one man in this army who cannot attack anybody, walked the length of the valley and parked directly in front of a brigand. And the menu that opens offers item, and wait, no attack at point-blank range because there is nothing in his hands to attack with. Claude backs out, gets the move given back, and writes the lesson down for whoever comes next. And the lesson is that the square does not reach the enemy. Probably a cliff edge, the note says. The square was fine, the enemy was right there, and the party list in those same notes has 5 names on it, on a map holding 6 units. The name missing from that list is the man Claude just tried to start a fight with. Chapter 2. Turn 3, put away where it stands.